Duh. Winning.
And now from the entertainment capital of the world, Mission Viejo, California, welcome to Chicken Wings and Pizza on the FYIMinistries.com studios and on Not By Bread Alone, Power 102.1 out of Boston and Atlanta, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Roku and the TuneIn app. Search FYI. That is so distracting. Oh my goodness. He's mouthing the words as I'm doing it. That is so hard to keep your focus. Welcome, Cw&P Nation. Welcome to another wonderful edition of Chicken Wings and Pizza, live from the FYI studios in Mission Viejo, California. As always, joined by my fabulous co-host, Hebrew, and our esteemed producer, Project Pluto. What's up, gentlemen? Good evening.
I don't know about the esteem, but what up, family? You know what it is. We're here, same time. Happy to be here with my brothers Pluto and Big Mike.
Duh.
And for everybody who's watching this on recording and live, it was the hardest thing about the mouthing that I was doing was trying to guess what Big Mike was going to say next.
You know what? Actually, you were very good at it. It actually distracted me to the point where I couldn't even keep a straight face long enough to finish the intro.
To remember what he's going to say.
Oh, but welcome, everybody. We always appreciate you guys coming and joining us. And obviously, again, Not By Bread Alone, Power 102.1 FM out of Boston and Atlanta. We obviously on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Roku, and the TuneIn app. Search FYI Ministry. Or you can just go to FYIMinistry.com if you'd like to listen to the show there. And we're going to kick the show off the same way we always do. And Hebrew, how are we going to do that tonight, sir, with the word of the Lord?
That's right, word of God. Everybody know we love talking sports, but this is sports from a Christian perspective. We are not ashamed or hiding our faith around here whatsoever. So the scripture for today is going to be coming out of John 14, verses 1 through 3. Don't let your heart be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me, meaning Jesus. In my Father's house are many homes. If it weren't so, I would not have told you. I am going to prepare a place for you. If I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will receive you to myself, that where I am, you may be there also. And this is one of the promises that Jesus repeats continually throughout the gospel, that there is definitely a place awaiting on us. We call it heaven. Mm-hmm. And, that's the reason why it's so great being a Christian. It doesn't matter what happens on this earth. We got a great reward that cannot be compared to on this earth waiting on us.
That's absolutely well said. And obviously, we do sports, but we do it from a Christian perspective. So I want to give the new people that might be listening to this show a little input. We actually, we do this thing from a Christian perspective, so you know up front where our religious beliefs are, but there's something you will not get on this show that you get on the other big networks. That's going to be the politics. That's going to be the baiting of the politics of race or of gender or of things of that nature. We're here strictly to talk sports and about Jesus Christ. We're not here to have political opinions on the air. We're not here to push an agenda. We're here simply talking the sports we love and talking about the Savior that we love, and that's obviously our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And very well put tonight, Hebrew, because I really do feel, man, that was a great way to start the show. And for those of you who might not know Jesus is your Lord and Savior, you can always talk to us, here on the show. And Andy loves the Pringles.
He loves Pringles.
I'm not laughing at, extending the invitation
Definitely
of knowing
not.
more about the Lord, but Andy chiming in with the Pringles. So we're going to kick off. I'm glad Andy Raven's on with us, as well as all of our listeners and viewers tonight. And we're going to start off in a place that Andy Raven has actually made a couple requests. And we're going to start off in the MLB tonight. And Pluto, we want you to kick the show off, buddy, because you happened to see a pretty decent game if you're a Dodger fan last night, correct?
Greetings. Hey, guys, what's up?
What's up?
Yeah, was a great game yesterday. Went to Dodger Stadium with some coworkers.
Awesome.
Got to watch the Cubs do absolutely nothing. No batted in runs. It was all homers. It was great, and Dodger Stadium, I hadn't been there for like 4 years, and it's really nice now. What's that company that all those guys that kicked in and refurbished the place?
I believe it's AEG.
Is AEG
the name of the company? Yeah. But what's interesting?
But it was a good game. It was a great game.
But I picked the Dodgers to go to the series against the Red Sox in an earlier edition of Cw&P. Let me ask you, as a Dodger fan, Pluto, do you actually think the Dodgers are looking like a team that can possibly win a World Series or at least get to one finally? Because I know that the Dodger fans out there are having their struggles believing that this team can actually get over the hump, because obviously the Dodgers have had a hard time getting over the hump ever, at least since 1988. And they've been to the NLCS probably 6 or 7 times in that period. They just never seem to be able to get over the top. So is this a team, watching them in person, that you actually feel can make it to the World Series or at least make a good run at it again?
Well, try not to be a complete homer about it, but
well, Hebrew's always a homer, so I
and so am I. So
homers are welcomed on this show.
Homer, that's loyalty.
Okay, fair enough.
Unless you're Mike's team.
Listen, the Dolphins.
Anyway,
you know what?
Trout being the MVP, forget about it.
I think the combined pitching staff of the Dodgers is the lowest EPA in all of MLB right now. Someone can check me on that. But
did you just call it a GPA?
No.
What'd you call it? It's an ERA.
That's what I said, an ERA.
Did you?
I think so.
Are we going back to 3rd grade?
I think so, because you said GPA.
No, I said ERA. Did I?
Would I really lie to you live on air?
Okay,
well,
anyway.
I know that.
So their ERA is the lowest of all of MLB.
Right, exactly.
So I think if the big swingers can stay healthy,
right,
and the pitching can continue, then I think you get to the Super Bowl. Boy, I'm all over it. You get to the
GPA
you get to the
Super Bowl, right sport.
You get to the World Series through your bullpen.
Right.
And so Andy did one.
So I have a lot of good faith in them today.
Okay, fair enough.
Before we move on, I do want to recognize Andy, who's happy about the Angels winning. That's a miracle season y'all been having.
We're 500.
I guess Trout hit a bomb at 440, so that's pretty good.
456, but who's counting?
He says 440.
Well, Andy, you're wrong. But I do want to shout out Josh.
Oh wow, Dodgers versus the Royals.
Josh.
Are you dreaming, Josh?
How would you be able to tell? Because the Royals took our uniforms. They'd be the same
he
one
said
big
that
team.
You guys are playing in the World Series, Pluto.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying it's gonna be like watching the Dodgers play the Dodgers with those uniforms.
Well, that's fine because last time I checked, the Royals have actually won a World Series since '88.
Okay, how many did they win before that?
No, 1. So anyway, I wanted to go ahead and bring this up to obviously our listeners and our viewers. So we've got the first place teams in the AL right now are the Minnesota Twins, the New York Yankees, the Houston Astros. Of those 3 teams, guys, which of those 3 do you actually think falls off before the end of the season? And if you have a reason why, then go ahead.
Which 3 at the top again?
It's going to be the Houston Astros, the New York Yankees, and the Minnesota Twins. If I can, I want to lead off with this question because I actually think it's going to be the Boston Red Sox overtaking the Yankees. So I don't think the Yankees are going to hold that lead in the AL East. I actually think that the Red Sox are getting David Price back. Their offense is starting to click. So I think the Yankees get overtaken in the AL East. Pluto, do you have anybody of those 3 that you think is going to fall off sooner than later?
I'll go ahead and take it while Pluto's busy over there. I'm looking at Minnesota's going to be the one to get overtaken.
Okay.
So I'm looking for, the Yankees and the Houston Astros to hang around, but I'm definitely thinking Minnesota is going to not keep that number 1 spot for much longer.
Let me ask you a question. With Minnesota being in the AL Central, do you think the Indians are going to end up taking it like pretty much everybody predicted in the preseason?
Well, that's exactly what I was looking at when I was looking at the standings. I'm like, Cleveland Indians definitely going to come back and, take over that spot.
Okay, fair enough. And Pluto, what do you think, sir?
And Josh thinks the Twins are falling off with me.
You know what? I wanted to. The biggest gap is between Houston and the Angels.
Of course, yeah, no.
So you got like eight games back. I mean the AL West is just kind of terrible.
The Angels are not catching them.
So I think
no,
it's the
I wouldn't
Twins.
even say they're going to.
No, I think it's the Twins. I think the Yankees will start to put up a fight as Boston starts coming down their throat, and there's no way that the Angels or anyone else in that group is catching up to them, I think.
Well, let me ask you. So we went with the AL. Now, what about Milwaukee, Colorado, and Washington? And I want to actually apologize to Milwaukee Brewer fans. 2 weeks ago, I said
All two of them?
I said your season was over. They're actually in first place, so I apologize for that error.
I'm surprised that you were wrong about that one.
Thank you. But I actually think the team that's going to fall off here of those three is actually the Milwaukee Brewers, and here's why. The Chicago Cubs are a half game behind them, and the Cubs roster's way too talented. The Dodgers are shutting them out for a second night in a row. But my thing is that the Chicago Cubs are way too talented. They're way too good to stay down that long. It's definitely going to be the Milwaukee Brewers for me. Pluto?
You know what? Yeah, you know what? I think I got to go with Milwaukee too, because you got to think that the Cubs are going to wake up here in a second.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're only they're less than a game back. So yeah, I think that's our biggest shot of trading spaces.
Now I do want to kind of ask you a question.
According to my GPA,
as a Dodger fan, with the Rockies and the Diamondbacks leading that division, do you think it's a foregone conclusion that the Crew in Blue can actually overtake those two teams? Because Colorado's looking really sharp right now. Do you actually think that the Dodgers are going to enter as a division champ or as a wild card at this point?
If they keep playing the way they have the past 4 games, they're strong. The bullpen's delivering, and people are swinging and going over the fences. So.
Right.
If they can keep that up, and the pitching can hold off, I think they can catch it. It's still, we're still in May, so we got some time.
And we had this discussion 2 weeks ago. Yeah. There's no reason to even start panicking or getting upset until after the All-Star break. Hebrew, who do you think of those 3 teams is going to fall off?
I'm looking for Arizona or the Dodgers to come up and take over Colorado in that NL West.
That's definitely a good pick. I can't argue with that.
And the reason why I went there is because I'm a true homer.
Well, and I'm
Mike,
aware of that.
Arizona guy.
Yeah, no.
And we all know the Dodgers are Pluto's team, so I went with the West.
And I do want to say this: none of us picked the Washington Nationals, and that's probably a good idea.
They got a pretty strong lead.
Well, they got a strong lead, and they're in the weakest division in pro baseball. The next best team in their division is the Atlanta Braves at 21-25,
8 games back.
So yeah,
that's a quite timid look to me.
So, and I want to ask you guys another question, and Andy Raven brings this up to me all the time. Is Mike Trout the best player in baseball, and does he deserve to win the MVP? No, listen to me. Does he deserve to win the MVP perennially? Because I want to bring up a point that no one seems to bring up, at least in this studio, except me. Listen. This guy's being compared to Mickey Mantle at 25, and that's by professional baseball writers who have been around, who have seen things. Some of them saw Mantle play at the end of his career, and they're comparing this guy to possibly the greatest center fielder, at least top 3 of all time. I mean, is Mike Trout the greatest player going right now, or does he have somebody who's formidable rival-wise who can actually say, hey, this guy's possibly better than Trout, or is he just the best player, period?
Man, I agree. He's if not the best. I can't come up with another name. Who?
I'm not
Who
saying
do you have?
The only guy who I hear mentioned in the same sentence as him on a regular basis, and I think it has more to do with the fact that they came into the league at the same time, is Bryce Harper. He's the only other guy who I hear, but Bryce Harper's not nearly the player that Trout is.
And look at the stats.
I'm not saying there's another better player than Trout.
Right.
But as we see in the NBA, LeBron James, the so-called best player, is not the top 3 MVP in the league this year.
Don't let him run off in the NBA.
So when we do it MVP, it's not just about being the best. It's really about being the best and making a great impact on your team.
But I feel like we're losing what the MVP stands for.
And I'm going to interject on that.
And that's what I'm talking about.
You cannot compare baseball to
I'm
basketball.
not comparing it.
No. You brought up the NBA. So
that's totally a misnomer. I said, as we saw in the NBA, their best player didn't make the MVP.
Okay.
That's not a comparison to sports. That's just MVP talk.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. And you know what? Actually, I'm not going to ask that question because that's repetitive. I want to get to what you just said. We are losing what the MVP MVP means, because
Right.
MVP
Exactly.
means most valuable player, not
best player.
not best player
On
It
the
means
worst team.
It means
And that's what
they're
you're
not the
giving
worst
Mike
team.
Trout,
But
the
I-
best player
they're
award.
not
No, but
the
I'm
worst
saying
team,
what this has turned into
So do
is
you-
where is the biggest
so-
where is the biggest gap between that what team has the biggest gap between their general playing ability and their star player? And it seems if there is a huge gap, then that automatically sets you up for
Well,
MVP.
I actually want to chime in with that, because Mike Trout's wins above replacements every single year is the highest in the MLB, and that's the stat that actually measures the point that you just brought up. So every single year he's got the highest WAR going. So if we're comparing what he means to his team, then Mike Trout technically is the MVP every single
I
season
can
with
see
the
that.
highest WAR
I can see that.
going. However, to Hebrew's point, I like what he brought up about LeBron. The fact is, Trout has only, and I say only, that's not fair. The fact is that Trout has
That's
won,
right, Josh.
has-
It's all about the
has-
MVP now.
has-
Most popular player.
has won the MVP award twice. He's finished in the top 2 every one of his 5 years in the majors. No one else has ever done that. So obviously his greatness is recognized. I think the biggest shame about Mike Trout is he's being wasted
On the
in
Angels.
Anaheim
That's right.
because the
Amen.
Angels can't figure their stuff out. And I'm a huge
Amen.
Angel fan. But the fact is
sorry.
they have no pitching. They have nothing going for them as far as a starting rotation right now, outside of maybe Shoemaker, possibly Nolasco, but they both have losing records. Mike Trout needs to be on a team that wins for him to really get the credit he actually deserves. And I'm not saying I want the Angels to trade him, but the Angels need to get more around him. I mean, the Angels stink worse than blue cheese right now. So I'm just saying
Man,
that,
that's bad.
yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's like old shoes.
So wow, ooh, old shoes? Really? Ugh, that's nasty.
That's why we don't let Mike wear his LeBrons to the studio.
Woo! There it is. Okay, so moving right along from Major League Baseball, we want to go ahead and get into this. And
I hope you're happy, Andy. You've been crying for baseball. Now we're moving.
Hebrew, we're
Yes,
going to go
sir.
ahead and let you lead off.
Uh-oh. We're looking for
We're
a home run out
we're
the
gonna
gates.
let you lead off. Give us your take on Chris Paul possibly more than likely becoming a Spur.
When I actually heard the report this week, I wasn't really worried at all. You know, Clips Nation, LA, Lob City. To me, I think this is just a little bit of publicity talk, best way I can explain it.
Okay.
Spurs need some good press. Clippers need some good press. So they're like, oh, let's talk about this. But this is the simple fact, as we went over in our pre-show. I thought, you know, doing a guesstimate, because I didn't really look at the numbers, that it was only going to be $30 million Chris Paul would be leaving on the table for moving to San
It's
Antonio.
actually 53, buddy.
That's what I was getting to.
No, sorry, I was just giving you the number. I wasn't trying to interject or interrupt. I was
No,
just
I
giving
know
you the
that's what
number.
I was getting to. I said I thought it was around $30 million, but in the pre-show, you informed me that it was the $53 million.
I just had to sound right. I apologize.
So, hey, I know we have to feed your ego as much as we can on this show.
It's the only place it gets fed, buddy.
At least we know you're eating everywhere else.
Can we get the drums on that?
That was a good one.
It was.
Anyway.
I even have to give that to you.
But like I'm saying about this, you know, Lob City talk, Chris Paul would be pretty dumb to leave $53 million on the table. A lot of things people don't know about Chris Paul is his wife actually loves L.A., and she's the main reason why he wanted to come play for the Lakers in the first place.
Except he
So-
plays for the Clippers.
You did say Lakers.
You
I
did
never
say-
finished what I was saying. She was the reason that she wanted him to come in the first place, and that's why he ended up with the Clippers.
Fair enough.
I never finished my thought. This is a very rude show today. But anyways, so everybody in Radio Land, I hope you can see. I wish you could see Big Mike laughing because he knows he's wrong today. But anyways, the thing that I was saying is, anybody who's married out there, Big Mike is, you see what his wife has to deal with on a daily. You gotta.
I feel bad for her too, people.
You gotta keep your wife happy. She loves LA. She's the main reason why they came out to LA looking for the Laker uniform. Chris Paul went with the Clippers, and honestly, it wasn't like smart for him to go with the Clippers, but that's where his wife wanted to be, so that's where he went. And he's so established in LA. He's like basically to Clippers Nation. He's like he's one of those pillars. He's a marquee thing that we're gonna remember for years to come. So I don't see him leaving. just because of what he's done for the Clippers, what he means to the Clippers, and $53 million is a lot of money for his children. So I'm not thinking he's leaving that on the table. Mm-hmm. And honestly, the Clippers are a great team. We just need to retool a little bit. If Blake Griffin doesn't want to step up, man up, it's time for him to go. But I'm not really looking – I don't see Chris Paul leaving at all.
Well, the way I look at this is pretty simple. Chris Paul's made a lot of money. And $152 million over a 4-year period of time or 5 or whatever it is certainly not a little bit. And what I think is really interesting about this, what's the one thing Chris Paul always gets knocked for in the media? That he can't win, that he can't get over the hump, that he can't beat anybody who is another superstar, basically. So he's going to go to San Antonio, I think, go with a 5-time champion in Pop, play with a guy in Kawhi Leonard who's arguably one of the 3 best players in the league.
You just reminded me of my point.
I was going to say.
The only reason why, and another reason why Chris Paul shouldn't go to San Antonio, and if he wanted to go, my contingency as Chris Paul would be no LaMarcus Aldridge. He's weak. He's okay on offense. No real athleticism. No defense. To me, he's more of a liability than what he's getting in Blake Griffin out of power forward.
Okay, well that's fair, except for the fact that Kawhi Leonard doesn't play for the Clippers, and LaMarcus.
I said LaMarcus Aldridge.
I'm
power forward.
Talk about rude. I actually think that LaMarcus Aldridge is still going to be a Spur. If he's not a Spur, it's because Pop wants him gone. It's going to have nothing to do with Chris Paul.
Oh, I understand that.
And LaMarcus Aldridge averaged 17 and 10 this year, so he wasn't useless. He's not the best power forward by any stretch. He's maybe not even in the
top 5.
Okay, fine. He's not in the top 5, but he's still serviceable. You still have Kawhi Leonard. You're still going to have a better nucleus around you than he will in L.A.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. Kawhi Leonard's one of the top 3 players in the world.
And other than that, who do you really have on San Antonio?
Really? Pau Gasol, LaMarcus Aldridge.
You want to mention Pau Gasol as a bonus? You saw the playoffs.
Okay, I saw the fact that their best player got hurt, and when he got hurt, they were up by 23. That team was.
So why is a team that has Pau Gasol, LaMarcus Aldridge not able to win again? I mean,
are you kidding me right now? You lost your point guard and you lost your best player, and you're telling me, I don't know why they didn't win with 2 guys playing down low, because Patty Mills couldn't get the job done. That's
Pau Gasol's ancient.
Okay, fine. He's fine. He's ancient.
That's not a plus for coming to the Spurs. Only plus you got is Popovich and Leonard.
And if Chris Paul doesn't take this deal with the Spurs, he's going to be ancient before he wins anything, or if he wins anything. He's going to be
ancient with an extra $200 million in the bank.
That's true.
Okay, that's fine. Money aside, I actually think at this point in Paul's career, and $150 million is not pocket change to him. I think his legacy means more to him at this point, and I think he's tired of being razzed for not being able to get to the conference finals, which the Spurs are always in contention for every single year. Pluto, where are you at on this whole discussion?
You guys always get to me in the middle of something.
Well, it's not our fault you're daydreaming.
My bad.
Daydreaming.
You know what? I like Chris Paul, and I think we talked about this last week where we're in the NBA, we're suffering from this championship hunting from the players
but that's how legacies are being defined.
Right.
Syndrome.
But just this thing where players are hopping onto whatever team they think has got the fast track to the finals.
That's not Chris Paul's mentality either. He's not that kind of guy.
I think, and again, I think a lot of this will depend on what's going to go down with Blake. If he ends up going someplace or if he ends up staying, and what kind of deal they make. So I like him to stay in LA, but seeing him with Popovich would be an interesting.
Well, that's the best coach in the league.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was, one of the best players in the league and the best coach in the league. So,
well, fair enough.
Hold up, Josh. Who are you taking over, Griffin?
I honestly, you know what? I can see where both of you are coming from, and I shared why I think he actually becomes a Spur.
Because you're a Clipper hater?
No, because looking at it objectively, I think he wants to get rid of the stigma of not making it past the second round. That's what I think Chris Paul wants to get rid of. I think both arguments are honestly very valid, and I honestly feel like if Ballmer goes out and gets some decent players for Paul to have around him who aren't going to disappear, a.k.a. J.J. Redick.
But you know that's what Chris Paul just did by letting this hit the media. He's letting Ballmer know, get me some pieces. That's all he really did.
So let me ask you a question.
I know, but who would you take? LaMarcus Aldridge, Josh, over Blake Griffin?
I wouldn't take LaMarcus over Blake Griffin.
I'm trying to ask Josh.
There's no way.
That's
Yeah.
crazy talk.
No, but I think we all know where we stand on this, so we're going to move on here in the sampler platter. And again,
Some of us stand, other of us fall.
well, fair enough. You have fallen
If you're
on
on
your face.
YouTube Live, you can see me pointing at my
That's fine.
illustrious
You can go ahead and point all you want. They know who's actually right.
Aw.
So Triple G and Alvarez.
Oh, witty.
So Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez, thank you, will be fighting. I couldn't pronounce it to save my life to begin with.
I know you talk like Charles Barkley.
So terrible. It's terrible. But here's what.
Hold on, right quick. I gotta let Josh have it, Big Mike.
Go
Josh.
ahead.
There we go.
Josh, I used to really value your opinion on this show. You're the first Hebrew homer, but you're.
Do you want a Hallmark card?
You're crazy, brother. Blake Griffin versus LaMarcus Aldridge. You're the only person in the world who's taking Blake Griffin over LaMarcus Aldridge. Sorry, that's the rapper in me.
We'll definitely hey, and Josh, as courtesy of Hebrew, you'll be getting an I'm sorry Hallmark card in the mail later this week.
Well, it's going to be a scratch and sniff Big Mike version.
Wow. Anyway, anyway, I'd be saying no too. Triple G and Alvarez apparently, and this is being reported, I don't know how true it actually is, it could be fake news, that they took the September 16th fight date that reportedly Mayweather and McGregor wanted for their super fight, which one side's agreed to, the other side hasn't, and that means that if the super fight happens this year, it would have to happen later in the year, because obviously the training schedules, I mean, I'm sure they're training now, but if they actually have a bout to actually fight, it'll be different. Was this fair or foul by Alvarez and Triple G and their promoters to steal a date that they may have known that this was the date that McGregor and Mayweather wanted, Hebrew?
Oh, boy. This is neither fair nor foul. It's more of that publicity stuff I like to, always see. It's like, let's drum up publicity. It's pretty smart on the promoter's part if there was any rumors about them taking that fight, because of the simple fact that Triple G and Alvarez, which already lost to Mayweather, but Triple G is one of the real boxers who could actually defeat Mayweather. So they're using it to really drum up support for their own fight. Great marketing move. It's they're just trying to get more people to buy pay-per-view, in my opinion, to try to get more viewers for the Triple G Alvarez fight.
Without question.
Like I said on other shows, especially last week, I don't see this fight happening this year at all between McGregor and Mayweather. So it's just good marketing on both sides, just drumming up a little bit of drama, publicity. But I can't wait to see this Triple G Alvarez fight. Moving on to another section of this, and I'm looking for Triple G to get a knockout in 6 rounds.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not making any predictions on the fight as of right now, but here's what I will say. I think this is brilliant by the Alvarez and Triple G teams. Here's why. This is not only not foul, but this is Dana White and Mayweather not being able to figure something out, and they said, well, you snooze, you lose, we're taking your date, and this is the date our fighters... Look, Alvarez and Triple G is going to be a better fight than Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather anyway.
Hands down.
And for true boxing and fight fans, this is going to be a treat beyond anything we've seen since Mayweather and Pacquiao, because this is a fight of legitimate guys who literally can stand in the ring toe for toe with a lot of different fighters and have over the course of their careers. Between the two of them, they only have 2 non-losses between both fighters. Golovkin is 37-0 and Alvarez is 49-1-1. So you have 2 guys coming into the ring who, pound for pound, I feel are 2 of the best 3 pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And you are literally sitting there and coming out and saying, look, you guys can't get your act together for this fake super fight, so we're going to have a real super fight, and we're going to actually come to terms and get this thing done. I actually applaud both their camps for this, and I actually think this is a brilliant marketing move by both.
And what you said about the super fight aspect is what Mayweather refused to do in his career. These 2 guys, Alvarez and Gennady, stand to take a loss from their fighter. It's not it's not in the pocket for either fighter. So this is like what I really love about these fights that have been being made the post-Mayweather generation.
This is what I loved about Klitschko and
Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua.
This new generation they don't want to have that same stigma Mayweather had on him at the end of his career. They're taking all comers. They're fighting the best of the best, and we're about to see some of the best boxing we've seen in years. And Josh, I can't believe what I just read from you, brother.
Well,
he said that he just
whatever.
wanted to stir me up about the Blake Griffin.
Very nice. And Josh Cleveland, I applaud you.
And you've succeeded, Josh. Good job.
I can't believe you got me like that, Josh.
Well,
he was sweating and everything.
Speaking of Alvarez and Triple G wanting to fight to be number one,
yeah,
we're going to take a short
that.
station break, and we're going to talk about somebody who apparently doesn't want to be number one. That'll be next on the FYI Radio Network, and we are covered tonight on
What do we want, Mike? Number one or number two?
We want number one all day.
CW&P wants number one.
CW&P. We are on Not by Bread Alone, Power 102.1 out of Boston and Atlanta, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, obviously on Roku and the TuneIn app. Search FYI Ministry, and we are from the FYI Ministry studio in Mission Viejo, California. It's CW&P on a Saturday night. We'll be back, everybody.
Picasso, Gerline, Wexler's, Whipped Up by Whitney, Cloud Crew 417. We see you.
What's up, guys? Hey, we got a special treat. We're going to go into a break with a new single that I was allowed to share with you guys.
Very nice.
Blood related.
It's called War Cry, and it's by Mr. Marshall. It's coming off his new album called Rise. And, here's a
Blood related. I can't wait to hear.
A good old war cry will do when the enemy comes in. Wake up, there's been a murder. Some dude laid by a burner. It had your fingerprints, so I know it would concern you. You fled the scene, things were unclean. You left some evidence. Who is that cat you killed right now? That's all irrelevant. Heat is on, you know the cops are out and they searching. I went to that dude's wake. It was sad when they closed the curtains. That's when you really knew it was the end. You had to be tight. Can't believe in cold blood sober you took in life. Didn't think twice as he hit the ground. Dropped the piece, said you's a beast. Jetted out of town. Now you on the run. You took somebody's mom's only son. What was the reason? Are you sure you got the right one? Read the paper and they said it was an argument. I'm kinda tripping, cause I'm here to see how far you went. No mercy. And you know the one thing that hurts me, his skin was the same as your color. He could have been your brother. A good old war cry will do when the enemy comes in like a flood. A good old war cry will do. Wake up, there's been another killing. Little girl by the building, let me get this straight. She was out playing with the children. Straight bullet action, I saw a frame collapsing. And all you got to say for yourself, what kind of man are you? What makes you do the things you do? To take the life of a future wife. They could conceive all the greatness of birthing a child. You took all those dreams away, just acting wild. On the corners with your buddies, getting high as heck of nutty. You left that shorty bloody. Your world real bloody. Can't imagine the pain that a family has, even though it's in the past. The heartache can last, and that's eternal. You're hellbound, dude, it's sure to burn you. Caught up in the game, remain to be uncertain. You feel that life is working, but where does that lead? That pain would be unbearable if that was your scene. Suicide, died from his pride, couldn't take it no more. Depression killed him from the inside, lost his mindset that went with his soul. The devil implanted himself, kept him on hold. He took the wrong road, started from his pops, I guess. In and out of jail till he got one in the chest. Left a mess of the boy that he could not raise. Saw his life in the haze, but he knew crime pays. So many ways I'ma praise my idol, been his grave. Fast money, fast cars, instead of a 9-to-5 slave. The behavior wasn't normal, I warned you on that. Every day was like formal, and dressing in black. No excuses for his actions, he loves it that way. Leaves his mom's at home on her knees to pray, hoping he make it through another day to wash her fears, wash away her tears. He was only 23 years of age. A good old
Welcome back. Thank you for rocking with us, riding with us here at Cw&P Nation from the beautiful FYI Studios, Mission Viejo, California. We are in syndication, Not by Bread Alone Radio, Power 102.1 FM, and the FYI Radio Network. Of course, you can find us on Roku, TuneIn. Just Google FYI, Google Not by Bread Alone, Google Chicken Wings and Pizza. You're going to find us, man. CWPNation.com is up and running. It's almost there, but it's still looking nice. Shout out to Pluto for that. And we got a few sponsors, always. The Wexler family, thank you. Whipped Up by Whitney. If y'all saw the stuff she just made for her niece's party, Sandlot. The baseballs look like you couldn't even eat them. They look so much like baseballs.
I would agree.
And then we got Cloud Crew 417. You know, that's the music and the clothing. And, man, our awesome producer has his own site. If you need anything in the music, video business, planetonpluto.com.
Very nice. So
where we at now, Big Mike?
So I wanted to ask you guys, so generally when you're doing something, you want to be number one at it, right? You always want to strive to be the best, correct?
We're number one. We're number.
Well, apparently that's not.
Those fingers, Mike.
It's apparently not the case in the Ball household because according to reports, the Ball camp, meaning LeVar, turned down the Boston Celtics for a pre-draft workout for Lonzo, and he politely declined the Celtics offer. And what's interesting is the Celtics have the first pick, and the difference between the salary for the first pick overall and the second is generally about $2 million or so over the course of the contract. So LeVar's always claiming, well, we're about B's, not M's, and turns to billions versus millions. And my question is, number one, why would Lonzo turn this opportunity down? Two, why would a father who seems to be obsessed with making money actually be turning down offers from Nike for $10 million reportedly and now declining his son becoming the number one pick? And I'm going to add a final twist to this. Why all of a sudden is it being reported that Lonzo Ball now is considering a workout with the Philadelphia 76ers, who own the third pick in the draft but wouldn't take the Celtics' request to be the first pick in the draft and give them a pre-draft workout? Hebrew, what are your thoughts on this particular situation?
It's more from the Twilight Zone called the Ball family.
Yep, that's
peculiar
very well put.
things. And what he says is just totally, just on a side note, I'm a numbers guy. I mean, a lot of y'all know I work at the bank. I don't know how you could be about billions and not about millions when there's a bunch of millions inside those billions. So that's
a great point.
Totally a contradictory statement, but that's something I had to get off my chest. But anyways, this is more from the strange. I mean, obviously, this is what's going on from what I'm ascertaining from what you just told me. Mm-hmm. He's a little bit afraid the Lakers are not going to take Ball at the second pick because he's trying to show loyalty to the Lakers already by rejecting Boston, who we know that's arch rivals right there. And then secondly, the fear is so strong that the Lakers are not going to take him that he's trying to get the next best pick, which would be the 76ers, which actually to me, if I am Lonzo Ball, is a little bit more attractive with the roster they have than the Lakers. Like, even listening to it, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I would love to play with a Joel Embiid as a rookie coming in the league, or Ben Simmons. Yeah. Like, that's a really nice young roster to fall into, much better than what the Lakers have going on, who even Magic said the only one who's interested in keeping is Brandon Ingram, but we'll talk about that more later.
Right.
So I really see it as the Ball family is really wanting that number two so bad, because if he lands in L.A., that's just buku for, Southern California is where they're already planted. So that lets the Ball brand expand exponentially, far as I'm concerned, because Laker fans are crazy fans. They're going to support their people. He's going to be a SoCal kid, so that's going to send Baller brand to the next level. But he has a backup. He said, I'll go with Philadelphia, great roster, third pick, why not? So that's my take on it. He's really, to me, it's like, we don't know if the Lakers are going to actually take him. And if I'm Magic, I'm not wasting a number two pick on Lonzo Ball.
Well, here's how I look at this. Because the reports are coming out right now that the Lakers are actually investigating not only with UCLA, but with Chino Hills High School, where LeVar Ball has not only been accused, but has been thought to be actually caught berating head coaches and getting head coaches with a winning percentage of 95 fired after 1 year, or causing them to go to another school. Not going to
get a percentage like that in the NBA.
So here's my question. This is starting to become now where it looks like LeVar may have dug a hole that he cannot get his own son out of, and he is starting
Isn't that
to
what
be,
we've been saying this whole time, Big Mike? Not to interrupt you, but that's exactly what we've been talking about.
Well, exactly. And here's what's happening. Magic Johnson, as crazy as the hiring of him might have been to some
He
people,
ain't that done.
the fact is Magic Johnson knows that if LeVar Ball is the one running the show, he's not going to let LeVar Ball be berating Luke Walton, because I promise you that will not fly. Magic wants titles. He doesn't want a reality show because they already have that. It's called Time Warner Sportsnet. And my thing is that
Where's the drums at, Pluto?
we're sitting here. We're watching the maturation of a young man whose father is not only taking control of his life, but he's starting to ruin it.
Yeah.
Because you already talked your kid out of turning down $10 million from Nike, as reported. Now you're telling him not to work out for Danny Ainge and the Celtics with the number 1 pick. Now you're having them work out for the 76ers, who the 76ers, hey, look, they got a great young roster, but they haven't proven anything yet. So you're at a point right now, if you're Lonzo Ball, I mean, why don't you just keep letting LeVar talk, and maybe you'll be lucky enough to fall to the Golden State Warriors in the second round. Because at this point,
winning,
LeVar Ball is costing his son money right now. And the big baller brand Zo2s are not selling the way that LeVar keeps telling everybody that you know, they might or it might or what have you. Here's the thing. Working out for the 76ers is fine. You're projected to be a top 3 pick, so I understand it. But it doesn't make sense to disrespect the Celtics and move on to another team. And here's the thing. I don't understand why you would tell the number 1 team in the draft no, unless you just absolutely downright don't want to play for them, which is exactly, you brought up the point of the rivalry, which is, I think, plays more into this than anyone's given it credit for in the national media. I think this is a loyalty to the Lakers thing.
What he's trying
Let
to
me
prove.
show you how loyal I am by not working out for your arch rival. I really want you to draft me. Hey, Magic, do yourself a favor. Take De'Aaron Fox and send the circus somewhere other than L.A.
And the problem is his daddy, like we've been saying on this show, you can talk a lot. It comes to a point where you're like getting your son publicity, and it comes to another point where you're harming your son's future, which is my biggest thing I've been saying about LeVar Ball as a father. You're not coming to my team if I'm Jeannie Buss, if I'm Magic Johnson, if I'm Rob Pelinka, with your daddy acting crazy like that.
And
like,
let's not
there's
forget
no
they just
way
got
you
done
can come
having
to
a
my
circus.
Team. You're not coming to my team with that nonsense. So if the dad doesn't want to shut his mouth before, you know, everything gets going, disrespecting women, disrespecting people's mothers that didn't get a chance to raise their children, disrespecting people because of their weight, everything that you do is past sports. We watch sports for fun. People who can't play the sport want to see you play it, like, you know, all these type of things. So when you start alienating whole segments and groups of American culture, you're going to be more of a liability to any team than what you will be as an
And
asset.
you know what the saddest part is about this, Hebrew and Pluto, and all of our listeners on Cw&P? The saddest part is LeVar Ball is the epitome of a guy who couldn't make it.
You're right, Josh.
This is the epitome of a guy living vicariously through his children in exactly the wrong way. This is what happened.
But on a million, billion gone crazy.
Well, it is. And here's my point. He couldn't hack it as a pro basketball player, couldn't hardly hack it as a college basketball player, couldn't hack it as an NFL tight end when he tried out with the Jets, apparently. And all of these things are now coming to light, and the Ball family is getting a terrible name and is absolutely on their way to becoming the next Kardashians. They're not going to be anything famous except for maybe Lonzo, and that's before an NBA veteran who his daddy probably gets a hold of him and puts a really good forearm shiver into his chest.
And look at his little brothers who are coming up trying to make it to the ranks of the NBA.
And to be honest, I mean, supposedly LiAngelo, the next one to go to UCLA, is the worst of the 3. So, I mean, and then, I mean, you got LaMelo, but he scores 92 points by cherry-picking the whole game. So it's just...
They do that in the NBA, too. He'll fit right in.
I understand, but in the NBA, they're expected to at least look like they care. Anyway, so, obviously in the 90s, Sleepless in Seattle was a really, really, really highly rated movie with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. Well, unfortunately, this...
Never saw it.
Neither did I. But unfortunately, this Sleepless in Seattle might actually come back to haunt the Seattle Seahawks. In a report released by ESPN earlier this week, it was actually an article. It wrote about how Richard Sherman and other members of the Seahawks defense are unable to let go of the bonehead goal line call that cost the Seahawks Super Bowl 49, essentially. Now, everybody who actually watched that game knows that it was the worst call ever at the 1-yard line. There is no disputing that.
I haven't seen one worse, not even in high school.
No, not in any way. I mean, you have beast mode in the backfield and you're throwing to Ricardo Lockett. Let that set in for a second, people. Hold on. Ricardo Lockett.
Who is this Ricardo?
But here's,
hi, Lucy, I'm home.
But here's my... Not Ricky Ricardo. But anyway, shout out I Love Lucy. But
that show was awesome. Saw that.
But this is my point. Richard Sherman and the defense are still mad. Apparently, there's a lot of beef between Russell Wilson, head coach Pete Carroll, and several members of the Seahawks defense, including Michael Bennett and Richard Sherman. So here's my thing, and I want to start with this because I'm going to take the lead on this one. Get over it, Richard. It happened 2-3 years ago. Enough is enough. I understand. It's a team dynamic, man. You have to play with your teammates to win. Let's not forget, yes, the Legion of Boom is great, except for in the fourth quarter against the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 49 when Tom Brady carved you up like a Thanksgiving turkey and threw 2 touchdowns, and I think only one of his
presses, Big Mike. We got
What's up, Stephen Canchola?
We got our first Facebook comment from Mexico.
What's up, Stephen Canchola? Thank you so much, buddy, for tuning in.
I like that
little international flavor. This is my point, though. Richard Sherman and Michael Bennett and the rest of these guys need to get over themselves. This is enough. Look, there was a guy named David Fulcher who played for the Cincinnati Bengals in the 1980s. You know what David Fulcher is notorious for doing? He dropped an interception on Joe Montana's game-winning drive in Super Bowl 23.
Yikes.
He literally had it hit him between the numbers in the hands and dropped it. David Fulcher, I'm sure, has moved on. This is not something...
I don't think Cool Joe did.
No, absolutely. Cool Joe did his thing. He was Cool Joe, but here's my point. You're going to have moments in a game where things go awry. The Seahawks defense that was so touted and so beloved got burned in the fourth quarter for 14 points, and Tom Brady completed everything he threw. Russell Wilson might not even be in that situation or might only need a field goal to win the game if the defense had done their job. Furthermore, after that interception, let's not forget, Michael Bennett was the one who jumped off sides and fought Rob Gronkowski because he was so frustrated and cost the Seahawks 5 yards. Who knows? Maybe they get Brady to make a mistake. Not likely, but maybe they do. Or maybe they get a safety and get the ball back. There's a lot of variables.
Hey, my question is this, Big Mike.
So,
with all this drama going on,
right?
Who do you take out of if you had to make a little civil war in the Seahawks? Russell Wilson or Sherman?
I'm taking Russell Wilson all day. I 100% am because why do you think
Sherman? Oh man, that was loud.
Why do you think that Richard Sherman was the subject of all those trade talks? They're not trading Russell Wilson.
They're not going to trade. Yeah.
They're not trading Russell Wilson.
Me being a defensive guy, I'm taking Sherman over Wilson all day.
If you're going to play one kind of defense the whole time,
you're going to trade Russell Wilson instead of Richard Sherman.
Yes, I will. I'll give me a different quarterback.
I think those chicken strips had botulism in it or something.
I'm a defensive guy.
I think it was the ranch.
I think it was the ranch.
Was that ranch or blue cheese?
It was ranch. It was ranch.
No, I got the blue.
It was ranch. Dude, I can't believe you just said that.
That was just my question. I had to make it a little more interesting. Civil War. If I'm doing Captain America Civil War, I'm on Team Sherman.
But there's no one else on Team Sherman.
The whole Legion of Boom.
What, 2-3 other guys if they can stay healthy?
But here's my thing, and this is what I want to bring up, Hebrew, because you bring up an excellent point, so I want to go here.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go here with this.
Okay.
How much easier is it to get a Richard Sherman than a Russell Wilson? There's 32 guys that start at quarterback in the National Football League. If it's the Browns, not well. But my point is that you're sitting there and you're replacing 1 out of 32, or you've got hundreds of guys who play corner. I'm not saying Richard Sherman is anything less than a top 2 corner.
That's kind of disrespectful to Richard Sherman.
No, but listen to me. I'm saying this from the standpoint as
Russell Wilson's a great quarterback.
Yes, it's easier to replace Richard Sherman than Russell Wilson. Yes,
I don't know
no?
about easier. Richard Sherman he's one of those type of quarterbacks you're not going to get every
by Mike Evans twice
the dude
in the
can
same
play.
game last
The dude plays one defensive scheme. All he does is talk locker room stuff out in the open. I mean, dude, I
went up to Tom Brady, who's got 5 rings, and said, "You mad, bro?"
Because Tom Brady was mad.
Okay, but the point
that was good. I actually like that one.
Exactly. I actually had a tank top that said "You mad, bro" on it.
Obviously,
it
doesn't
awesome.
fit anymore. But that's
that's what made him mad.
Yeah, exactly. So my point is this: you made fun of my weight earlier, so I felt it
I
was
was
only
going.
right to get
I was
you back.
going to say something. But I was like, well, I guess it's because I said what I said.
Yeah,
It's like 3 sumo wrestlers making fun of each other's weight in here.
And let's not.
They don't call me Big Mike for no reason. But my point is this:
It's because you have a big head.
Yes, that could be why. But Richard Sherman, Michael Bennett, and the lot of them. Do you not agree? Let's see where we're at on this point. Do you not agree that it might be?
What you know about Lonnie Lott?
Oh my goodness! Is it time for them to get over it though?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
On that, I mean, this type of stuff. I mean, this is what the Clippers used to be notorious for before they just became
That's
inconsistent.
a really good point. I never even thought about it.
They used to just cry and complain to the refs every time up and down the floor. And it's like, you need to let that possession go. And that's just possession by possession. So definitely when you're playing professional sports, you're not going to be able to control calls, good or bad. We see a lot of horrible calls throughout all of the 4 major sports these days. So you really got to shake the dust off and move on and play the next play. The next year, like he said, this is years ago, so it's time to move on because this type of stuff, when you have this lingering in your mind and your soul and your spirit, it really hurts your team. So you need to let that type of stuff go, focus on the next play.
And I think the other thing is, too, with Richard Sherman being as great as he is, a lot of people compare him to Deion Sanders.
I was going to say that myself when you guys were talking.
Because him and Primetime are very close statistically and
but
pretty
Deion
much everything.
Sanders is just so great,
but
I can't do it.
But guess what? There's a big difference between the two of them.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders played on teams that were at times terrible, and he still was a top cornerback in the league. He didn't have quarterback play till he went to San Francisco and Dallas. You know what? Deion Sanders was a lot of things. One thing he did not do was complain or stay bitter or try to say all these other things. Richard Sherman could hope to be Deion one day.
Yeah, I was going to compare the two, but there's really no comparison because Deion is so much better.
And guess what? I would actually argue that right now Richard Sherman is, he is a top cornerback in the league, but is he the top cornerback in the league anymore, in your opinion, Hebrew?
I like to see one better than him.
Well, I like Patrick Peterson better than him down in Arizona. No,
not better than Sherman. If I'm looking for cornerbacks and we playing a little street football, I'm taking.
That's going to be
Sherman.
a really good topic on Sweet
Richard
and Sour
Sherman
next week.
all day.
No doubt. Well, look, we've
street
seen
football start at 7.
That'd be awesome. I'd actually love to play some street football. So I want to get to this.
Hey, Big Mike, a guy came into my bank. Total side note, still sports related.
Okay.
This guy is like 60, 70 years old, and he has his arm in a weird little thing. And I'm like, what happened to your elbow? He's like, oh, this is street football. I was shocked.
What, last week or like
I don't know. It just I was shocked. Dude is like 60 years old. He's like, yeah, I broke my elbow.
Shout out.
Like, well, you earned that.
Shout out to that customer for balling.
I was like, you earned that one.
So let me ask you a question. So obviously, we're going to close out our sampler platter, which has been fantastic.
It was
tonight.
delicious, Mike.
It was, but we are actually going to close up shop with a little something we call the deep dish. And the reason I want to bring up deep dish is we have a very special guest in our next segment. So I want to make sure that we get to the most important part of the show, and I really do feel this is the most important part of our show. For those of you who don't know and might just be tuning in, this is Sports Talk from a Christian perspective. So we throw in something from sports that we definitely feel applies to not only the Bible, but to sports as well. And I wanted to bring up integrity.
You know what else is going to do, Big Mike? It's going to help us grow our spirit, man. man.
Absolutely.
That deep dish really helps you feed your spirit, man, while you're on the show.
And keep in mind, when I actually am writing the deep dish segment for this show, I actually pray to the Holy Spirit that he gives me that particular inspiration. And the inspiration actually came from the Dan Lebitard show this week, and no, not from Dan Lebitard. He had Tony Dungy on. For those of you who don't know who Tony Dungy is, and you were born in 2000, Tony Dungy is a championship coach and player. Won Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers as a defensive back,
like Tony Dungy,
and won a Super Bowl with the Colts, number 41 over the Chicago Bears in 2006. Tony Dungy came across some information when he was coaching of a formation the Denver Broncos run that had a certain play, a halfback pass that was included in that formation. That was the primary thing they ran out of it. Interestingly enough, Tony Dungy came across this information in a way he was not comfortable with. So when they came into the formation the Denver Broncos did, instead of changing the defense to what would have prevented a halfback pass, Tony Dungy actually went ahead and let the Broncos run the play without changing the defense, and the Broncos ran it for a touchdown. Dungy mentioned that it was actually probably divine intervention for his integrity because the play was actually called back on a penalty on Denver, but he never once thought about changing the defensive scheme, although it put a knot in his stomach for some time, and if they had lost the game because of it, probably would have done worse in his own words.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony Dungy kept his integrity at the cost of doing something that's almost unthinkable for most football coaches and players, and that was he did not, in any way, shape, or form, compromise his integrity because he did not feel right about what he had come across. In the same way, as Christians and as people in general, integrity is the one thing you cannot teach. You either have it or you don't. And the fact is that having integrity is actually more important than what most people consider in this world to be important, which is money, popularity, fame, what have you. Integrity is one of the things that you cannot replace. And being that we are a Christian radio show, I wanted to bring up Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And what that verse means to me is real simple. If you have things that are great and are glorious and can be shown to the world that, you know, you're a Christian and that you have integrity and that you have all of these things, I think it's a great example for us as Christians to actually be able to go out into the world and show our integrity on a daily basis, because Lord knows it's very, very difficult to do that on a regular basis and be able to do that in a way that really is, you know, to the point where we are being an example, because integrity is something that we need to have on a daily basis, just in general and in all of our actions and in everything we do.
Amen. Alicia Wexler said that's actually one of her favorite verses. So
very nice.
Very awesome you picked that. And a few things I wanted to touch on after hearing the story. It's just really awesome when you can see a man who's willing to stand for what's right, instead of taking the easy road, the road that's far travel. Like, oh, I can stop this play. Know the formation, let me do it. What Tony Dungy did was stand for something a little bit. It's the unseen things that really make a man what he is and what can make him sleep easy at night. Like Big Mike said, he might have had a knot in his stomach, but at the end of the night when he lays his head on that pillow, he's feeling just fine. And even the divine intervention, which people, always want to say they don't know how the Lord can work in mysterious ways, the play was even called back. So it was even recognized in an unseen way that Tony Dungy made the right choice. And lastly, what I wanted to leave on with the whole integrity thing, the scripture popped right in my spirit as Big Mike was talking. Proverbs 22, verse 1. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. So, a lot of people tell you do whatever it takes to get the money. People tell you do whatever it takes to be famous, popular. People know you. People see you. This is the culture of today. But as Proverbs clearly teaches us, these are ancient principles that will last through the test of time. It's better to have a good name than to be rich. It's better to have favor from the Lord than have all the silver gold in the world. because of the simple fact that your children can say, that's my dad. Your
Money
wife
and
can
his fool
say,
are soon parted.
that's right. Your wife can say, that's my husband. You know, your friends can say, look at my buddy. People that you work around can say, why is he so much different than us? So this is what a good name can do for you. It's happened in my life. It's happened in Big Mike and Pluto's life. It's much better to do things the right way than the quick way, the easy way, the fast money way.
Without a doubt. And with that, everybody, we are going to be taking a station break right now. But when we come back, yes, it did.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But when we come back, we are going to have a very special guest, and we are going to debate a topic.
I don't know about very special, somewhat special.
That is hotly contested in
What
the
up,
world.
Chris?
That is hotly contested in the world of sports right now. Ladies and gentlemen, do not miss it. We are going to be back in a few minutes. Thank you so much to Not By Bread Alone, Power 102.1, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and obviously TuneIn, Roku, and FYI and the FYI Ministry Studios in Mission Viejo. You are listening to Cw&P on a Saturday night. We'll be back.
And don't forget to tell a friend about how awesome the show is. Tell them to tune in. We'll be here every Saturday, 7 to 9. And Pluto's banging one of our new tracks we did together for this break. It's called Better Than That. Free download on SoundCloud. Check it out.
Money chatter, Chuck E. Cheese, all I wanna be. Makes me dough, call me sauce, I'm the boss. Careful cause these raps will knock you off track. That's the life I used to lead, tell Jesus intervene. Jesus off the on the scene like you can do better. 2014, I gave my life completely. Never look back, you can do the same, Brody. Jesus sold me everything, breaking chains, healing pain, stop the rain, calm the sea. He the king, Prince of Peace, lion up, Judah beast, never seen defeat. Devil under our feet like Michael Jackson beat it. Devil don't care about us at all. Kill, steal, and destroy. You wanna see us fall? No, it sounds straight, but I just wanna see you ball. I ain't talking racks, I ain't talking stacks, talking soul salvation. Jesus coming back. Keep my riches up in heaven, hope you do the same. Book of life, VIP for peculiar people. Fish and rod out, hoping I can reach these people. Armor strapped tight as I fight against this evil. Lightsaber swinging Jedi to these Christian people. Hebrew Kenobi, Project Pluto. He be Yoda.
I can be better than that. You can be better than that. We can be making mistakes. We can be taking the wrecks. You should be better than that. You should be better than that. You should be better than that. I can be better than that. You can be better than that. We can be making mistakes. We can be taking the wrecks. You should be better than that. You should be better than that. You should be better than that.
Like Star Wars, Force Awakens, what we trying to do? Awake the Force laying dormant inside of you. Like a seed become a tree and it produce fruit. Horror baby out the womb, this is new life. We can all do better once we get with Christ. No more gamble, no more risking life. Up all night, standing on that block, making sure your money right. Re-up to re-up again like Boost Mobile. Used to hustle all day, chirping on Boost Mobile. Rapping for the hood, trying to make this local global. Way I used to trap, I could be the trapper logo. COS was the click, BLR the label. Jesus came and flipped the tables in my temple. Life in pieces, trying to put it back together. That's a puzzle, couldn't solve like a Rubik's Cube. Yeah, I stumble in the blindness just like Paul did. Fix me up, gave me new name just like Saul of Tarsus. Lock swing, I'm a Hebrew, I just came to bang. Lock swing.
I can be better than that. You can be better than that. We can be making mistakes. We can be taking the wrecks. You should be better than that. You should be better than that. You should be better than that. I can be better than that. You can be better than that. We can be making mistakes. We can be taking the wrecks. You should be better than that. You should be better than that. You should be better than that.
Team Jesus Cloud, crew for 17 on everything. Bling, 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 bling. Heaven is our dream. 2017 declare the overflow.
Open the doors and windows to your soul. Give control to the Holy Ghost. Watch them mold like the clay. Make us better day by day. I will lead us by the hand just like little children. Shepherd us like little lambs. Trust in your protection. Yahweh, Yahweh. All our faith in your provision. No longer put our trust in evil world system. Citizens of a whole different greater kingdom. My wife gave me citizen watch, so I remember. Time is close, he can come back now any day. I suggest you stay ready like Uncle Chopper say. Forsake all and trust him like my pops Marty. Construction building like new gems, word of foot prophet. Catch me on foot with this gospel like my brother. JJ3, MOG, my brothers.
I could be better than that. You could be better than that. We could be making mistakes. We could be taking the wrecks. You should be better than that. You should be better than that. You should be better than that. I could be better than that. You could be better than that. We could be making mistakes. We could be taking the wrecks. You should be better than that. You should be better than that. You should be better than that. I could be better than that. You could be better than that. We could be making mistakes. We could be taking the wrecks. You should be better than that. You should be better than that. You should be better than that.
Welcome back, Cw&P Nation, to Chicken Wings and Pizza on a wonderful Saturday night from the FYI studios in Mission Viejo, California. And we are brought to you by Cloud Crew 417, whipped up by Wit. And we are affiliated tonight with, obviously not by bread alone, Power 102.1. We got water running in the background.
The rain is sponsoring us, Big Mike.
Obviously, we are on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and we are on Roku and TuneIn. Search FYI Ministry, or just go to FYIMinistry.com. That's the easiest way to get a hold of the show, but Facebook is pretty easy. So, anyway, we wanted to go ahead. There's been a big topic this week going on in the world of sports. And, Pluto, any idea what that big topic might be?
Let's see. The big topic in sports this week.
Uh-huh.
I believe Finland went to the top of the table in the curling. How you like that?
By the way, that is not a knock against people in Finland who like curling, but that's not exactly the route that I was going.
Okay.
How about LeBron versus MJ?
Yes.
Ta-da! Okay.
I think you said that backwards.
Okay, so anyway.
MJ versus LeBron.
Really?
I got it. I got it.
I mean, does it have to be in a certain order? Are you petty?
I got to make editorial clarifications on this show.
There is no editorial clarification. Oh, my goodness. So, obviously, America is having this debate now where MJ versus LeBron is becoming this huge topic on a regular basis because of the fact that the Cavs are winning so much. LeBron's looking really good as they do it for the most part. And what I think is so interesting is this topic has now gained more fuel because LeBron James passed Michael Jordan in Game 5.
LeBron James wasn't looking too good at Game 2.
To become – that's actually Game 3 you're talking about, but never mind.
Same thing.
The point is –
I thought we were not allowed to correct people on this show.
well, you've done it 3 times already, so but anyway, so – here's a question.
Wake up, Pluto.
And I wanted to get an idea where you guys are at, like as far... Oh, and this is the segment of Sweet and Sour. Forgive me, folks. Sweet and Sour.
Sweet and Sour.
There we go. Bringing back our number one segment, obviously. Every single week it seems to be that way. Let me ask you, in Hebrew, I already know where you're going to go. But we're going to ask the question anyway.
The people don't know, Mike.
Are you guys sweet, or... I know what's coming, though.
The people don't. It's for the people.
Hebrew, are you sweet or sour on MJ and LeBron even being comparable in the playoffs or otherwise?
Well, I'm definitely sour.
Bummer.
Yes, it's a total bummer for LeBron James fans. Well, anyway,
matey.
I'm so sour on the comparisons between the truly most dynamic, prolific, great, timeless, whatever you want to call Michael Jordan, the greatest against LeBron James. LeBron James is, to me, not in a league of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan stands. Only one other person can even come close to the league Michael Jordan is, and that would be the logo, Jerry West. As a dynamic of a player that he is and was. That's out of control, Pluto. Anyways, the simple fact of how many players wear Jordans on the court, how many kids love their Jordans. I mean, the guy was great. His scoring average was much better. Yeah, LeBron James passed him up as a scorer in the playoffs, but it took him 33 more games to do so than Michael Jordan's ever had the opportunity to play. And we all know if Michael Jordan played another 33 games at the clip he was scoring out, it would be well over 1,000 more points that LeBron James will have to get to. So for these simple facts, I mean, let's stop it. All this talk about the competition being the same as when Michael Jordan played, stop. We all know this is the super team syndrome era. Y'all all want to click up together just to chase championships. Michael Jordan had the best supporting players in the world, arguably the best role player of all time is Scottie Pippen.
Sorry, Scotty.
So will you really see what we did it with back in the times when we were growing up and kids marveling in the 90s watching Jordan do his thing? There's no way you could compare the two. Michael Jordan did so much more. What he did with the basketball, the artistry, the mastery. Stop it.
Pluto, where are you at on this whole thing?
We're comparing LeBron to Michael Jordan.
Correct.
And, I mean, I'm a stat guy, so you got to go with stats. But if you factor in the years played and how many appearances and blah, 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 I feel as far as an impact on the sport and in culture, I mean, yeah, but LeBron is taking a page out of the Jordan playbook. This was the dude who came and blew everyone off the track, said, hey,
you said that on the way up here, Big Mike.
and how about some $140 shoes, Mr. Lonzo Ball, who he has no problem selling. And, you know, that's the dude.
Everything.
They changed the logo from bust to Jordan and make it that giant, the Nike Jordan symbol. That should be the new NBA logo. Yeah, bro, I don't think LeBron is a beast, no doubt. But he is following in the footsteps of one other person. That's my opinion.
Well, here's where I'm at. Stop comparing MJ and LeBron. Because here's what we need to do. We need to realize something in this world. We need to realize that Michael Jordan's status is legendary for many reasons, not for his play on the court only. It is legendary from a marketing standpoint. It is legendary from the fact that he currently has hundreds of teams that wear the Jumpman logo on their shoes, on their jerseys, on some part of their jerseys. Michael Jordan is a pillar that holds up the NBA. He is not somebody who
he holds up American sport. Not to interrupt, but yeah.
Fair enough.
The whole sport.
But my point is this. Michael Jordan cannot be compared to LeBron James for those reasons, but I want to bring up another one. They're in different eras, people. You can't compare a guy like LeBron James in the NBA we have today to a guy like Jordan, who the Detroit Pistons actually made a set of rules for called the Jordan rules, where literally anytime he drove to the basket, he was getting clotheslined by one or two people.
Hard as possible. Hit him hard.
My thing is this. LeBron James is a beast. LeBron James is the greatest player of this era. There is no question about that.
Oh, we could question that.
No, not even close.
Better than Kobe?
Are you kidding me?
Have you heard of a guy named Kobe Bryant?
Okay, how about? Okay, I want to go here since
Pluto.
you.
Where's my sound effects?
Hold
on.
Wait a minute.
Hey,
You
Pluto.
two want to do this?
Pluto.
You
Hey,
guys
Pluto.
want to break? Wait
How
a minute.
many kids?
I went
Hey,
4
Pluto.
minutes without talking during your
I
segment.
just have to say something.
Oh, talk
Pluto.
about interrupting.
How many kids and dogs are named Kobe? And how many kids and dogs are named LeBron? That's all I got to say.
As many
about that.
dogs is going to be named after you after this segment.
How many times when you shot a wad of paper into the trash bag
said
did you
Kobe.
go LeBron?
Let me
Kobe.
Let me go ahead.
I
And
like
make,
that. That's a
Can
good
I?
one.
Can I
Pluto.
make?
Okay,
my
I'm
point
shutting off
real
my
quick?
mic. I'm shutting off my mic.
You don't have to. You might want to shut his off though.
Oh wow.
I want to go here. What do you got?
You're definitely sensitive as LeBron
No,
James.
no. What What do you guys think Kobe's all-time scoring average is?
It's not all about all.
No, I asked you a question. What do you think his...
Jeremy Fardig. Who's the best player this era?
Obviously,
Hey,
if you're
Jeremy,
bringing it up, then
I'm asking a question.
if
What
you're
do you
bringing
think
it up,
is?
then obviously LeBron's got.
he's an encyclopedia.
But
What do you think
Right.
it is?
I don't know off the top of my head.
25 points a game.
CWP Nation.
What's LeBron's?
Who's the greater
27
player of our
point-
Okay,
era?
so we're fighting over 2 points an average a
Exactly.
game.
Still a better scorer average per
Okay,
game.
all right, but now
Period.
factor the clutch, the team
doing it
player.
from a
You're
young
gonna
age.
tell
The
you're gonna tell me if you're starting a team right now, you're taking Kobe Bryant over LeBron James if you're starting
All day.
the
both
NBA
in their
franchise.
prime.
all day.
Both in their prime.
All day, Kobe.
Kobe.
All day.
All day.
LeBron
Hey,
does not.
CW
LeBron does not lend to a
No.
atmosphere of teamwork.
No.
I think Kobe was more of a player's coach, and kind of assisted. You know, he coached from the starting five.
CWP Nation.
So
we need you guys to weigh in
you're
out
telling me
I
that
think as
Kobe
far as-
Bryant, Kobe Bryant's a better basketball player than LeBron James.
Yes, I don't know.
Up and
Yeah,
down.
up
I don't
and
know
down.
why I have to say it more than once.
there. Exactly. CWP Nation, we need you to weigh in.
Oh, by the way,
Out
Big
of
Mike,
this era, who are
water
you
is
taking?
wet.
Kobe.
Just in case you needed to.
Who are you taking,
Wow.
Kobe Bryant or LeBron James? We need you to weigh in out there, CWP Nation. Who
And
are
I
you
understand-
taking, Kobe or LeBron?
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I know you feel pressure because they're the president of the LeBron chapter,
Fan club.
fan
Well,
club, Manafee
Wildemar
chapter.
No,
Edition.
but what? Okay, but my question is, why are you guys so quick to dismiss it?
Total number of members,
I'm
one.
not quick to dismiss it, but if you ask me and I'm comparing the two,
That's easy.
To me,
Kobe
this is a no.
Bryant.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not close,
Okay.
but yeah,
Well, I
Hey,
could
what's
make-
up, Jeremy? We see you, bro.
Well, I could make the argument that Kobe doesn't have his first 3 titles without Shaq, and I can't say that about LeBron.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, if we're going to go into that
Jeremy
segment,
Fardig, who
so-
you taking, Kobe or LeBron?
See, and that's my point.
yeah. I mean, but that starts us down a slippery slope of argument when we start to say, well, he couldn't have done it without Shaq 3 times. Well, LeBron had help, obviously, for his time.
He seems to
I mean-
forget that
I
he
mean,
had
it's
to
not
go
a one
play
person-
with D-Wade and Chris Bosh to get his first chip.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a one-person sport.
Actually, you know what, guys? Jeremy worded this perfectly. Kobe's a better finisher
That's what
and
Pluto
more
said.
clutch, but LeBron has a better
Pluto, didn't
all-around
you just
game.
say that he was a better finisher and in the clutch?
no one listens to me.
That's exactly what Pluto said.
I know, but he also brought up the point that LeBron's got a better all-around game.
Kobe is
period.
Jordan, LeBron is Magic. I know you agree with that too, Jeremy. I mean,
No, I
Mike-
do, and actually that's funny because I actually think merging these two parts of sweet and sour are appropriate.
Wow, you guys are not real Lakers fans out there, Wexlers.
So here's my question.
Jeremy took
Are
Kobe.
so let's go with this part of it. Are we comparing LeBron to the wrong superstar? Should we be comparing him more to Magic Johnson?
Not at all.
Why?
Disrespectful to Magic Johnson. Disrespectful.
Who do you take before? Wait,
Disrespectful.
who do you take before you take LeBron?
Out of who?
Out of everyone, who do you take before
who-
LeBron?
Thousands.
Really? I mean,
You're so full of it.
I wouldn't
right
say
now.
Thousands.
thousands.
You just lost all my respect.
I'm taking.
I cannot
I'm taking
believe-
Shaq. I'm taking Kobe. I even Grant Hill with his injuries. Penny Hardaway.
So LeBron doesn't make your
Taking
five?
Penny
No.
Hardaway?
No, I love
No.
no. You got Magic, okay?
No.
We got Jordan,
No.
we got
No.
Bird, we got Shaq,
No.
and we got T-Mac, my starting 5. And don't forget Charles. Come on now, LeBron James doesn't even factor in with a lot of these guys.
Pluto, can you go ahead and tell us who you would take over LeBron since Mr. I Hate LeBron over here
Well,
is obviously...
My
Well,
point
we know
was
I heart LeBron. Everybody needs to see the tattoo on his chest.
Right.
I heart LeBron.
You've
I-
never seen my chest.
It's too hairy.
well, we got time. Anyway, you know what?
Draw a happy face first.
the reason I asked that. Jeez. The reason I asked that
Make it
was
talk with my belly button.
if you could. Oh, we should do that. That's our next segment. Belly button talk.
Sorry, people.
We're gonna belly button talk. You know what? The reason I asked him that was I wanted to see who was in. Before you get to LeBron, and for me, before LeBron's definitely my top 3. But before you get to LeBron, it's Kobe, it's Magic,
And Shaq.
and Jordan. I don't know. I
You
mean,
kidding me?
Shaq
The
has
most-
to have somebody to pass
The
him the ball.
most
Yeah.
dominant player of all time,
Oh,
Shaq Diesel.
you are,
Wow.
bro. There is heroin in your water. What is wrong with you? It's like you
Couldn't agree with you
You
more.
pick the craziest
Is that why I can't stop drinking it?
I'm nodding out. Anyway, no, dude, the most dominant player
Andy
ever
got
in the
wow.
NBA. Wow, bro.
Who's
Wow.
more dominant than Shaq Diesel?
In the paint? Are you talking about, or are you just in
Dominant,
general?
That's dominance. Grown
No,
man,
dude.
you.
Jordan, Magic, all of those were more dominant. All of those were
We know why
more
you're a
impactful.
baseball, football guy. That's
Okay,
all I
let
got.
me. Okay, so I
If
want
you're gonna say dominant in the paint, yes.
I wanted to get back to the part where I asked the original question was should we compare him more to Magic than to Michael?
Absolutely not. LeBron James is a category by itself, known as the most valuable crybaby.
You know what?
I can't even talk to you at this point because you have decided to disrespect the top 5 all-time player.
The top 5 softest.
Not in Hebrews.
He's
top
so
five.
No, he put Tracy McGrady ahead of LeBron. It shows where his basketball
Are
intelligence
you kidding
is.
me? You're telling me you're not taking T-Mac over LeBron James?
Never.
Oh.
Not on a good day.
We need some real sports NBA analysts out here. Are you really telling me
You would take Tracy McGrady.
all day?
Hey, and by the way,
I'm taking Yao Ming over LeBron James. How about that?
Oh, now he's
now you're just
now he's just trying to.
discrediting
He's just
yourself.
he's just
Now-
trying to.
now
Ming.
you're discrediting yourself.
You're bringing shame to the show.
Yeah, you're officially discrediting your NBA opinion right now.
can't.
So-
Olajuwon over Shaq?
Ooh, I
Jeremy.
would, that's a good
That's
argument.
amazing.
That's a good argument.
That's amazing,
though.
but that's finesse versus power. We going with power every time.
I wouldn't say that.
I said I going with
Okay,
power every time.
that's fine. We know what you're going with that loser strategy on NBA greatness.
Loser?
Absolutely.
Are we compare? You want
my-
to compare
my-
rings? Hakeem to Shaq? We cannot compare rings.
Hakeem Olajuwon is one of the greatest post players
No,
to
you
ever
want
play.
to talk about
period.
rings? Shaq won more.
You're the
than
one
Hakeem.
always saying that it shouldn't define a legacy.
That's
How
what you-
many?
Yeah.
But that's, we're not talking
Did
about
he
my
not-
opinion.
does
We're
he
not
not
talking
say
about
that
my
every week?
opinion. We're talking about your opinion.
Does he not ever? Does
Yes.
he not say that every
Yes.
Are we
week that
talking
that should
about
not
my
be the only thing
opinion
that
or his
defines?
opinion? Isn't he
Both
all
of you
about
are-
chasing
Do
wings?
we not talk about that weekly?
Aren't
Do
you all about chasing chicken wings and pizza, Big Mike?
I obviously do, but my point is that you're the one always saying rings should not define somebody's
And I'm
legacy.
using your definition of legacy, not my own.
What is
You
my
always
definition?
talk about rings. Olajuwon did not win as many as Shaq.
I don't always talk about rings. I make the case for Chuck Barkley all the time that he's one of the greatest fours ever.
You got to get to that part with Charles Barkley fighting Shaq.
Actually, that's a perfect segue into it. So,
right there.
so Charles Barkley
Winning.
and Shaq get into an argument probably every other month on TNT.
And when they were playing against each other, it was worse.
Hey guys, really quick. So Picasso just chimed in, and he says he's hold on. Here's his opinion.
you better
Go
say-
ahead, Picasso.
you better
Be
say-
nice to
You better
Picasso.
say the right thing, Picasso.
Come on, Picasso.
Divac, Vlade Divac.
Oh, wow.
And Jeff Horn.
Hey, Picasso, you on one, bro.
Picasso,
What did he say?
Picasso, did you really bring up Jeff Hornacek
Jeff Hornacek.
and Vlade
Get it
Divac?
out.
Vlade Divac.
This is incredible. I can't believe this.
That's very mean, Alicia.
Hey,
It's like fake news all
Hey.
over again.
What did he say?
He said he's got
taking
Vlade.
over LeBron.
Vlade and
He's
Hornacek.
taking him over LeBron?
Yeah.
I'm with you on that, Picasso.
oh, so you were dogging the guy 5 seconds ago, but now you're
I'm
cool.
with you on that,
Oh, and
Picasso.
by the way, speaking of rings,
I would take
hey,
Vlade Divac
hey,
and Jeff Hornacek any day,
I want
bro.
to shout out Alicia Wexler. You're right, Alicia. The
No.
Clippers have no rings,
Cut
so
his
their
mic.
legacy must be.
Aha! He pulled out his
You
microphone.
don't talk about the Clippers like that.
You know what?
Unacceptable.
That's how you know. That's how you know his argument's weak when he has to disconnect my
unacceptable.
mic.
It's because you're being a blowhard.
No. No. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with that's how many rings the Clippers
Hold on,
have.
we can hear that on the mic.
So anyway, so Shaq versus Barkley yet again, and this time Shaq basically told Barkley he has no business talking about the NBA Finals because he only
Hey,
went.
that's mean.
He only went.
Was it
one-
live?
Yeah.
Was it on the
Oh,
TNT?
yeah, very live.
Yeah.
It was on the TNT post game.
Yeah.
Ernie Johnson even chimed
Inside
in
the
and said,
NBA.
"Why are you guys making this so personal?" Like that's how deep this got.
Ernie Johnson?
Yeah. So
Oh, you know Ernie Johnson
So-
don't know about competition.
So here's my thing. So this is what Shaq said. He said essentially, you've only been to the finals one time, and many people question why you're in the Hall
Unsuccessfully.
of Fame. Chuck shot back at him, well, I still wonder why you have 4 titles on the coattails of Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade. My question is Shaq getting a little too feisty in the yard with one comeback? Does he need a different your mama joke, like at this point? Because he's always bringing up the lack of rings for Chuck Barkley, and yet Charles Barkley in his time was one of the best power forwards that there's ever been. And here's the thing. To Chuck's point, the way I just said that Kobe doesn't have 3 titles without Shaq, Shaq doesn't have 3 titles without Kobe or Dwayne Wade. I'm not taking away from Shaq. I think he's the best center to ever play. But my point,
most dominant.
But my point is this. Shaquille O'Neal needs to stop digging at Barkley for something. First of all, Barkley played with some pretty good guys, and they could never get to the finals because of the Celtics in Philadelphia. The one time he goes to the finals in Phoenix, they have to play the Bulls, and we all know how those series ended.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things where I think LeBron's kind of getting long in the tooth with this one, man.
Not LeBron.
Shaq.
This guy loves LeBron so much.
keeps bringing up the fact that Barkley has no rings, but it's kind of getting old. Like, it's kind of like, hey, get a new joke. Like, it's a stand-up comedian saying the same thing 150 times.
Yeah, man, when I watch Inside the NBA, I really get irritated. So I'm definitely sour on this because Kenny Smith and Shaq relentlessly make jokes. Oh, his doorbell doesn't work because it doesn't have a ring. Actually, pretty good joke.
You like that one, Mike?
That's actually a pretty good joke.
Big Mike just heard that joke for the first time.
I heard another one where they said, oh, his cell phone's broke because it doesn't ring. You know? So the jokes are good, but it's like at a certain point, you need to respect Charles Barkley for who he was, who he is. I mean, even at the height disadvantage that he had with Shaq, he was never afraid to even throw a punch at Shaq. Such a great competitor, such a fearless man. And I say that with respect just to his heart of a champion, even though he never won a ring on the NBA level. This whole legacy of you got to win a ring, let's keep it real, people. There's 30 teams in the NBA. Only one team can win a year. A player's career is 15 years if he's lucky. So look at the odds that you're going to get a championship ring for all my numbers people out there. It's very low. So to just judge somebody off of winning a ring or not, when, like I say, JaVale McGee is about to win a ring this year if the Warriors go ahead and do what they have to do. There's a lot of people at the end of that Cleveland Cavalier book that's going to walk around with a ring, but you're not going to know their names. Even the athletic trainer is going to have a ring on his finger. So if this is all it's about is having rings, let's say the athletic trainer should be in the Hall of Fame. Basketball sport competition is much more about the heart of the man and the fight in the man than about, oh, he won the ring, he didn't win the ring. This is nonsense. Y'all need to stop. Shaq, Kenny, both need to stop messing with my boy Chuck, one of my favorite all-time players. You really can't find a power forward or small forward that's better than him.
Well, and here's my thing. I mean, you could argue that Chuck Barkley is literally a top 3 power forward all time. And
you know he was in my starting 5.
Well, I do. And here's the thing. The ring is a team accomplishment.
Exactly.
The Hall of Fame is an individual one.
Amen.
And I think people need to stop getting this confused. Shaq, go make more Gold Bond commercials. Like, seriously, man. Like,
go sell some more icy hot.
Just, eat, a couple more things of nachos and you'll be fine, man. I think he was hungry is the problem.
Why don't you sell some more of that General Car insurance?
But here's
not gonna pay out.
But here's my thing. Shaquille O'Neal, in his own right, is a great player, obviously, and one of the greatest of all time. But to keep digging at somebody the way he digs at Barkley constantly, I think Kenny Smith, it's more of a fun thing because Kenny Smith has Akeem Olajuwon to thank for his rings.
Definitely. He can't act like it was because of him. That's what I'm saying.
Here's my thing. Shaquille O'Neal needs to get a new joke. He needs to get some original material and stop messing with Barkley, dude. Like, you know what? If you think he's so beneath you because of all this, then do us a favor, Shaq. Just don't respond to him when he criticizes you and know that you have 4 rings in your trophy case. Because honestly...
Hey, you should have more, Shaq.
Well, and here's the thing, and this is just getting old. And let us not forget, Shaquille O'Neal's the one who couldn't get along with Kobe Bryant and beat the Pistons in 2004 and possibly go to more finals because he was more busy being a diva than he was a center for the Lakers.
You done went too far.
And I just cannot.
The diva was Kobe.
I cannot stand the fact that we're sitting here dealing with Shaquille O'Neal making fun of somebody with no rings. That's like Trent Dilfer being a better quarterback than Dan Marino because he's got a Super Bowl ring. There's no way that that's a valid argument. And look, Karl Malone doesn't have a title ring either, and Karl Malone's another great power forward. You can go down the list. George Gervin doesn't have a ring. Does that make him any less of an NBA great?
Man?
Exactly.
Of course not.
All of these guys that don't have rings in their careers, but were great players. They get Reggie Miller doesn't have a ring. Does that mean he's any less of a great shooter? Of course not.
Well, of course not.
So we need to stop with this whole narrative that you have to have rings in your trophy case, which is a team accomplishment, to actually have legitimacy to your legacy. It's ridiculous and it's stupid.
Sure, and Jeremy Fardig, I want to know who your 3 centers you're taking.
That's
before
actually
Shaq.
Jeremy. I want to know who
I
your 3
wanna
centers
know
are
who
ahead of
your
Shaq.
3
That's actually.
Thank you, Andy, for letting Big Mike know Kobe was the diva as well. But Jeremy, I really need you to type that one up for me. Who are the 3 centers you're taking over Shaq?
Who? Me?
No, I was telling you Pluto. Yeah.
Okay, so if we're doing 3 centers over Shaq,
No, not you. Jeremy Fardig.
Okay, so if you're talking 3 centers over Shaq, that'll be an interesting one because
Yeah.
I'd love to hear.
I don't think you can go 3 deep without mentioning Shaq.
I don't understand that, and I love to hear that after this last break we're taking, studio break.
We got one more? Or we got to take a studio break.
We can take a break.
Okay, so we're going to take a studio break. We are up against it, guys. Again, thank you to all of our affiliates, Not by Bread Alone, Power 102.1, Facebook and YouTube. Obviously, you guys have been great. Thank you so much. And obviously, we're on the TuneIn and Roku. You can search both of those for FYI Ministries and FYIMinistry.com. You can catch a show there as well. Yes, it's right here. Cw&P on a Saturday night from Mission Viejo. We'll be back with our final segment in just a few moments.
In order to get attention for God. If we don't live for God's glory, we become simply a little echo of a God-neglecting culture. It's a little echo. We fit in so well to this world that we can't direct anybody's attention out of the world, which is where God is.
Yeah.
We're just so afraid of not being in step that we blend so well, nobody's saying, wow, look at God. You are a people for God's own possession, not for the possession of anybody here. He called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Because you're God's. He belonged to God.
Yeah, it's motivation. Yeah. I'm back on the grizzy, ambassador Dizzy gets busy. I'm still in my lane, proclaiming his name and don't think if nobody gets with me. I know that I'm flawed, I know it for sure. I'm thinking the Lord, he forgives me. I hope in the cross, cause of the cross, my sins get tossed like a frisbee. Sometimes I'm tempted to fall off and start to getting all switchy. The devil is cunning, fall for his hammer baloney, and you can get richy. Then you will fall in the tickling ears. You know it could be itchy, but Jesus is more than a niche. He's Lord over all, he says lift me. Yeah, I got in the game, cause I like music, plus I like sing. What's in my heart and what's on my brain? And my heart got lit by a God that was slain. Now I got a heart for the art that pertains to this God who was sovereign and sovereignly reigns. Heard he was looking for a rap, but not any rap, but the rap that exalts in his name. So I said I would do it. I'm not in step with the trends. The trend is leaving them out or tucking them in till he's not an offense. Hope you don't think that I'm judging ya. Hope you don't say I'm not loving ya. But God on the outer, man on the inner. This is so secular. Sacred, 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 sacred or secular. Sacred, 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 sacred or secular. Sacred or secular. Sacred or secular. Don't get it twisted, there is a difference. Sacred or secular. Sacred, sacred, sacred or secular. Sacred, sacred, sacred or secular. Sacred or secular. Sacred or secular. Even when there's no divide, you must decide. Sacred or secular. I hear a whole lot of music. Don't take nothing for homies to drop, so allow me to drop for the one who's on top. Supreme, and I ain't talking tacos. My God is colossal. It's the Colossians I go. He is a king, made everything, and I do mean the Ravens, the Flacco. He's man, but he's God though. Something that not even Pac knows. There's something much better than ghettos in heaven, but you don't even know it like Rocco. Jesus is my boast. He knew there was beef like a pot roast. What you think this life is rocky for? Why you thinking about Drago? Gospel I flow. As the time goes, some guys go. Can't see this while your eyes closed. But the vibe ain't new, but the vibe's old. Cop them mics like 5-0. Let's kick insight like Tybo. Yeah, it ain't law, but it is Paul who said it's that cross, that's all I know. So I'm making a record. I'm calling it sacred or secular. Taking the effort, kinda like sounding like I'm in a breaking a record. Cause I'm into being redundant. When it's a theme I've been meaning to run with. That's what ambassadors do. Asia to Africa, on to New England to London. Sacred, sacred, sacred or secular. Sacred, sacred, sacred or secular. Sacred or secular. Sacred or secular. Don't get it twisted, there is a difference. Sacred or secular. Sacred, sacred, sacred or secular. Sacred, sacred, sacred or secular. Sacred or secular. Sacred or secular. Even when there's no divide, you must decide. Yeah, sacred or secular. The glory, the honor, the power, the money, the wallet, the purses is. I'm talking the dollars, the cents, the mall, and even your purchases. What can you say? You could just say the entire earth is his. Sacred is when he sets it apart for his person and purposes. You do what you do like he intended for you on the planet. Loving him and this he intended for you when he planned it. Whether you're eating or drinking, seeking or thinking, working or playing, it all can give him the glory. But that's just half of the story. He exalted Jesus Christ and the crosses. People the light and they floss it. We see that mic and we all spit. What's in the heart we talk it. And we all preach it like pulpit. You won't speak life if you don't speak Christ, and it doesn't matter what you call it. But they say I'm too narrow. They tell me my art isn't broad enough. That's phony. The world is a one-trick pony. They're more narrow than all of us. This is not a rebuke or saying that there's not a use for rappers that rap like whatever, but rappers a tool that allows you to do more. Sacred, sacred, sacred or secular. Sacred, sacred, sacred or secular. Sacred or secular. Sacred or secular. Don't get it twisted, there is a difference. Sacred or secular. Sacred, sacred, sacred or secular. Sacred, sacred, sacred or secular. Sacred or secular. Sacred or secular. Even when there's no divide, you must decide. Sacred or secular.
Welcome back. You are live, CW&P Nation, Chicken Wings and Pizza Christian Sports Radio Show, FYI Studios, the beautiful Mission Viejo, California. We are in syndication on Not By Bread Alone Radio out of the VA. FYI, sorry about that, Power 102.1 FM out of Boston and Atlanta, as well as Big Mike. My brain is totally frozen.
We're on the Roku.
The Roku,
and
tune in.
There you go.
And I said FYI, Not By Bread Alone, man. We got whipped up by Whitney as a sponsor, Cloud Crew 417, PlatterOnPuto.com. You know, it's been a long week. Sorry about my little brain freeze out there, people. Big Mike, where are we at in the show right now?
Well, in honor of my father, I wanted to give the current NASCAR standings
This is
in the
the
top
dessert platter,
five.
correct?
Yes, it is. And this is served up by Whipped Up by Wit, and that's my wife's cake-making company. Did an incredible job today with my niece's cakes and cupcakes and everything else.
Can you believe Andy has given us the 3 best wrestlers of all time, Mike?
I
don't know when he's
cannot.
going to stop.
But here's what we're going to do.
Kareem, Chamberlain, and Russell.
That's actually not a bad 3. I'd have a hard time arguing with Russell and Kareem. Chamberlain, great scorer, but he never
Definitely,
really got over the
it's
top.
got to be Kareem, Russell, and Shaq, in whatever order you want, Jeremy.
Okay, fair enough. So, Dad, this one's for you. The top
I like
5
that song too, Kerry. Pluto, what was that song we were just listening to? Not this one, the one right before that.
Sacred or secular?
Yeah,
Ambassador.
That song was really good. Kerry said she liked it too. I really did enjoy that one.
So for the NASCAR standings for my father, Gene Williams, who I hope is listening, Martin Truex Jr. leads the pack. Brad Keselowski's in second. Jimmy Johnson has moved to third. He's a 7-time NASCAR champion, so there's no surprise he's in the top 5. Kyle Larson is fourth, and Joey
what happened
Logano
to Joey Logano?
Joey Logano fell.
He was at the top
for a
the
while.
last few weeks.
Excellent.
Come on, Joey.
So are we ready with our special guest yet there, Pluto?
We're going to find out right now. We're kind of in a weird spot. So Give me a second. Let's see if he's. Chris, are you there? Chris,
can you hear us?
Okay, I don't think you can hear us. Okay, vamp for a second.
Will do.
And I'm gonna call him.
We're very good at that. So anyway, I wanted to get to something. Hebrew, we're a show about the fans. I wanted to get your take on something. Kevin Durant, after Game 3, had said that if you don't like the NBA playoffs and the blowouts going on, just don't watch it.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, does he have a point, or is he just being blatantly disrespectful to the people who pay his salary?
I mean, I know you asked me this question. I know the people don't know, but I know Big Mike knows where I'm coming from on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Durant, Mr. Cupcake, you are totally out of line. We see why you get booed when you go back to OKC.
No question.
Something is really wrong with you when you say don't watch. So what happens when the fans don't watch, Kevin Durant? What happens when the fans don't buy your jersey, Kevin Durant? What happens when they don't buy your shoes? What happens when the NBA has no ratings and they can't afford to pay that contract, Durant? That is a totally foolish and horrible comment. If my mama were here today, she'd probably whoop you for me. I can't believe that you would disrespect the people that are paying for you to live so lavishly in that way. Shame on you, Cupcake Durant.
Well, I will only comment to say this, and somebody famous once said there's no such thing as halfway crooks. If you're going to
He's an all-the-way crook.
And if you're going to try to be a tough guy, Kevin Durant, please stop. Just please knock it off, and the shenanigans are
You know what he needs to do first is put on some weight. You want to be a tough guy talking like that. Bulk up.
Hey, stop talking about fat Brandon Ingram like that.
Brandon Ingram needs a Pediasure.
It is our pleasure to welcome onto the show.
I don't know about pleasure.
Well, it is a pleasure to welcome live from Houston, Texas.
Oh, it's a pleasure, boys. It's a pleasure.
Oh, it's without a doubt a pleasure. Longtime listener and Lakers and Patriots aficionado, Chris Lemoyne. Chris, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, buddy. And just to start up the show right, I ended in Houston, got their specialty, their turnovers. So,
I love the take on food from Houston, bro. We know we need that on chicken wings and pizza.
Without a doubt, turnovers are fantastic.
James Harden was actually serving it. He got a
Hey, that was a great setup.
Oh, that was excellent. Hey, Chris, we already went through the segment, but with about a minute's time, what is your take on the whole MJ LeBron James thing?
My take is pretty simple. I think LJ is chasing a ghost that he's never going to catch.
That's right.
That didn't even take a minute.
Just like Pac-Man.
I think the comparison, unfortunately, isn't fair for him, and it's certainly not fair for MJ. Because all I got to say is one thing. Name a game that LeBron James wanted the ball in the last 35 seconds. And I'll end this argument and concede right now if you could tell me one game.
Yeah, he'll give the shot to Kyrie Irving every time. I'm with you on that.
Game 2, Eastern Conference Finals, 2009 against the Magic.
The last 35 seconds, Mike, not the game. I'm not talking about a great game. I'm talking with it all.
No, he hit the game-winning shot with zeros on the clock.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said, Mike. He said, when does he want the ball? He's not a closer. He's not a clutch player. He said, when does he call and want the ball? He'll give it to Kyrie or Kevin Love every time.
Big dog. And he did it in Miami, too.
Sure did. Here you go, Dwayne. Take it, Flash.
Well, our minute's up on that topic, so
I'm sure it is as the president of the LeBron James fan club.
You keep saying that. So Chris,
did he get dropped?
Did he get dropped right now? Chris, are you there?
No, I'm here, buddy. I'm here.
Okay, sorry. So Chris, one of our most popular parts of the segment, we're actually in the dessert platter right now.
Andy said, "What up to you too, Chris?"
And we wanted to go ahead and get your take. Are you down for some NFL over/under before you answer a few questions about your Lakers?
Oh, buddy, you know I'm always down for some NFL.
He wants to do anything besides answer questions about the Lakers.
So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with the NFL over-under. Pluto, we're going to start with you on this one, buddy. For the Vikings, their over-under this year is at 7. Are they going over, under, or push?
Vikings under 6.
Wow. Okay, very direct. Chris, you like the Vikings to win, push, or go under as far as 7 games are concerned?
Like him to go over.
You do. How many are you going to give them?
I'll give them 8. I'm not going much higher, but they'll get 8 wins this year.
Okay, Hebrew?
I'm with Mike. Pluto, sorry about that. The real Mike. Anyways, I got the Vikings under, and I'm going even 5 games.
I actually, on this one, I like the Vikings to push where they're at. I like them at 7-9. I think they're right about there. I think the loss of AP is actually a little bit more troubling for that Vikings backfield than people are making it sound like. So we will see. Chris, we'll let you one, buddy. You like the Eagles to push, go over, or under 7 wins for the season?
I'm going under.
How many are you going to give them?
I will give the Eagles 6 wins this year.
Okay, fair enough. 6-10. Hebrew, where are you at with the Eagles?
I like a push on this one. Big Mike, 7 sounds just about right for Philadelphia.
Fair enough. Where are you at on this one, Pluto?
Surprise, dark horse run by the Eagles over, and they're going to get 9.
Oh,
Wow, 9-7. I'm actually with Chris Lemoyne on this one, although I'm not giving him 6 wins. I'm actually giving him 5 to put him at 5-11, only because I just don't think the Eagles as a team are going to be very good. I think Carson Wentz is going to be good, and I think Alshon Jeffrey makes a difference for him. I just don't think that the Eagles as a unit are going to be very good, and they're in the NFC East where the Giants and the Cowboys are going to be running that division. So I definitely don't see them beating either one of those teams any amount of times. Hebrew, we'll start with you. Pittsburgh Steelers over under push 11 wins this season.
Steelers are looking really good. I don't know about 11. Even looking at this, that's a little bit high for me. So I'm going to go under and give them 10.
Okay. Chris, what do you think for the Steelers this year, buddy?
You know what, man? I want to lean towards Hebrew, but I'm going to say push. I like them at 11 wins. Everybody's healthy this year. They're good.
Okay, fair enough. Pluto, what do you think?
Push, 11.
I'm actually going to go ahead. The Steelers' offense is actually really, really good. However, I don't think their defense is nearly where it used to be. I'm actually putting Pittsburgh at 9-7. I actually don't see them winning 11 games this year. I think their offense is going to score a gobs of points, but I don't see that defense stopping a lot of people either. But they do have a soft enough schedule with the Bungles and the Browns on it that I actually think that those will be some easy wins for
They're
them.
definitely getting those 2.
No doubt. Chris, I know that everybody's talking about the Titans, at least on the Big 4-letter network. How do you like them at 9 wins?
Under. I don't see it.
Okay, fair enough. How many wins do you think they're actually going to end up with?
I'm going to go 8-8. I think the Titans will be all right, and I think they'll be okay in a couple years, but 8-8 is good enough to at least tie that division. So I'm going to give them 8.
Okay, fair enough. Pluto?
Yeah, no, I'm not feeling the Titans this year. I'm going to be under, and I think they're getting 6. I don't think you're going to see a lot of. I think it's a reconstruction year.
No doubt. Hebrew, where are you at with the Titans?
Titans, to me, we haven't seen a lot of good years from them lately, but I think 9 games sounds just about right. I'll take a push on that.
I'm probably going to be thought of as crazy here, but I actually think the Titans are going 11-5, and I'll tell you why. Because that
you need to be over there with LeVar Ball.
That running game, don't ever compare me to that guy.
That was just as crazy.
The Titans have a great offensive line, a strong running game, and a very improved defense. And Marcus Mariota, they say he's going to be 100% at the beginning of the year. And if you're able to run the football with DeMarco Murray and
Mariota ain't that good.
Oh, Mariota's a fantastic quarterback, man. I don't think he's very much sought out and
he's good enough for them. He's good enough for them to go 11-5.
I really think so, and I actually think that Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray are going to have big years, and they've got all pros on that offensive line. I would look out for the Titans. I actually think they're going to play very well this season.
Chris, is Mariota that good?
I put Mariota maybe in the top 20 right now.
Thank you.
I think Mariota's got a shot, but I think the problem that's going to kill him is the same thing that killed him at U of O. I think once you figure him out, it's going to be really, really tough for him to continue.
Give him a ding, ding, ding. He got it. He hit it that. Ring the bell. Thank you, Chris. I knew you would have something sensible to say.
Ding, ding, ding.
Anyway,
ding, ding, ding.
We see how much Hebrew and I agree, so I'm not offended by that at all. So, Chris, we're going to go with arguably the worst team in the AFC, the New York Jets, over-under push 4 games.
I'm predicting right now that the Jets have the number 1 pick in this year's draft.
We'll take that as an under.
I think the Jets win 2 games.
Oh.
I'm right with you on that, Chris. I'm taking the same exact. That's exactly the number, under 2 for me.
Really quick, bonus question: who is the worst record this season?
Browns.
I'm actually taking
Nope.
Go ahead, Chris.
Jets. I'm legit going the Jets.
I'm actually going with the Jets as well.
Really?
But I think the Jets are 1-15. They suck at every position. They are terrible. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a running back. They don't have a wide receiver outside of Eric Decker, and he's no Jordy Nelson. Not to mention the fact that their defense has a bunch of old guys on it who complain about wide receivers who just left. And quite honestly, they don't even have – actually, I don't even think I can name anybody in their secondary, and for me, that's an accomplishment. They're 1-15 at best.
And, Mike, a bigger issue with them is, and I think it showed with what Richardson said about losing Brandon Marshall, who was arguably the best player on the team. They were happy to see him go. They obviously have a losing mentality, and they're happy losing.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. Did anybody not get to chime in on the Jets on that one? Pluto, what do you think?
What was the
over under or push at 4?
4. Under 3. I if they hit 4, call it a successful season. If they hit 4, throw yourself a parade for real.
Winning.
Wow, throw yourself a parade, people. Okay, this is going to be
I'm sure Jets fans will be happy.
This is the last of the over-under, and I think this is arguably the most intriguing one we have on here. Chris, because you're our guest, we'll lead off, buddy, with you. The
Ladies first,
Carolina Panthers at 8 games, over, under, or push?
Oh, you know what? I'm going over. I like McCaffrey, and I think he's going to help Cam out a lot.
I would tend to agree with that statement. How many games do you think they actually end up with?
I'm going to go 9.
Okay,
I think
so 9 and 7. Pluto?
What was our target number?
8. I'll have to show it to you. We got
side stuff, guys. What was it? 8?
8.
Carolina over 11.
Wow.
How about that?
Hey, Pluto, I'm with you. I was sitting back. I'm like, are they really disrespecting Cam Newton with this 8 number? Over 11. Same for me.
Okay. Well, I'm actually, I'm probably, again, crazy. I think the Panthers are pushing. They're 8-8. I think McCaffrey gives them a lot of boost on offense. However, I don't know if Cam Newton's going to get back the mojo he had 2 years ago.
He's got it back.
Okay, no, it's hard to repeat that, though. And my thing is that the defense isn't quite as good. We saw last year that, Julio Jones had 300 yards in one game. So that secondary is not what it used to be with Josh Norman. And we're definitely not seeing a Carolina team that showed any signs last year of stopping anybody except the Rams. So I think, honestly,
you want to talk about my Rams?
Well, there's not much to talk about. But that's going to be over-under. And, Chris, we're going to let you lead off with our final topic tonight in our last segment. The Laker drama that keeps happening, and I'm not real sure why all this stuff keeps coming out. It's probably because Jim Buss was an awful president of basketball operations. I would say the same about Mitch Kupchak at GM, but he's got 5 titles to his name, although it's arguable that Jerry Buss had more to do with that, but that's for another day. What do you think about Byron Scott being upset and being lied to by Jim Buss and Mitch Kupchak and saying he felt betrayed, lied to, and deceived in the Orange County Register earlier this week, and that he thought he was brought in as, number one, the scapegoat, and the fact that he was brought in to manage the end of Kobe's career, and that's it?
I agree with him 100%.
Okay, and do you feel like he should have maybe known that ahead of time? Or
Here's the problem that I have with that. Kobe's in his twilight. He's going out. Kobe runs the Lakers. He's the only reason that butts were put in the seat.
Without a doubt.
You are a puppet. You're a scapegoat. And he should have known that. So for him to come out and say it, it's kind of sour grapes to me. It really is. But he's 100% accurate. He's just got sour grapes and kind of upset about it. But for him to say he didn't know that, I think he's lying to himself and to the public.
And not only would I tend,
like it.
I would tend to not only agree with you, but I think that Byron Scott, is as good a player as he was, and early on with the Nets and even with the Hornets in the middle of his career, he was very, very good. Byron Scott could not have thought for 2 seconds that they were keeping him around long term. I mean, the fact is Kobe Bryant's on his last leg. Then on top of that, you're getting to a point where the Lakers were absolutely a terrible basketball team. And outside of Kobe's 60-point game, I don't think there's been anything that the Lakers have done in the last 4 years that's even worth note at this point. And
there's been, Mike, I'll clarify that as a Laker fan. There's been nothing the Lakers have done other than Kobe's retirement, hoorah or whatever you want to call it, that made any Laker fan actually excited. They have done nothing.
Okay.
And more to
like
that fact, Byron Scott may have known that he was only there for Kobe, but he probably still was under the assumption that he could possibly be able to help in the rebuilding of the Lakers franchise and help some of these young players out. So I do understand what you're saying, half the way, just not all the way. He probably still thought he probably would have some time to work with some of these new guys and be part of the rebuilding phase of the Lakers as well. But you guys definitely haven't done anything to inspire Laker fans. You're lucky Laker fans are so loyal as Lakers, really,
Right.
because
Well,
what's
buddy,
been going on in the front
Clipper
office.
fans is we've tasted that.
Well, we're
winning.
not talking about the Clippers right now, Chris. But you guys, it's really great. It's really great that you Laker fans are so loyal to the organization because there's really nothing for you to be loyal to at this moment in time.
I feel like how many coaching positions did Scott have before the Lakers?
he was in New Jersey. He was with New Orleans. He was with Cleveland.
As assistant or
No, as
Head coach.
As head
He
coach.
did a great job in all three cities. He's a much better coach than a Luke
Except
Walton.
that time they lost
Hebrew.
26 in a row in Cleveland.
Hebrew.
Pluto, disconnect the phone. His time's up.
No, like I'm always going to tell you.
Disconnect this phone, Pluto. Hurry up.
Don't talk over the
Tell you
guest.
one thing. When I was a kid, I traded a pair of Pro Wings for 2 Clipper tickets. And you know what I thought afterwards? Damn, I really wish I had those Pro Wings back.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that because Pro Wings are not even going to be accepted for a Laker ticket these days. They're like the Pro Wings are much more valuable.
They give you the Pro Wings if you buy a ticket.
They sure will. I heard every Laker fan is getting a pair of Pro Wings and a champion Laker.
Anyway,
Some
beyond,
LA gear.
Beyond
LA gear.
Beyond the Clippers and
LA gear.
beyond the Clippers and Lakers residential beef, I wanted to ask you about
It gets real out here, Mike.
another issue that came up, or supposed issue. Magic Johnson came out and basically said that everybody's tradable but Brandon Ingram. Do you like it or not like it?
I like it. I'm good with it. Do not trade Brandon Ingram. I'm good with D. Russ being gone.
Yep, they all can leave.
I am a huge Randall fan, but he is just too inconsistent, especially when
Good man.
When you got Larry Nance in the wings, you got no worries. I'd put Randall on the block immediately.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And actually, Larry Nance might be the only person I would keep besides the rest of that lot because he's awesome.
The problem with Ingram is, man, he's got all the tools to be a great basketball player. They just need to see what he's going to – Ingram's got 2 years. If he doesn't develop the way they think he's going to in 2 years, he'll be gone as well.
He needs to drink some Pediasure so he can bulk up.
I agree with you on that, my friend. Yeah, that guy looks like he could blow away with the wind gush.
Hey, Chris, you've been a great guest, man. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Anytime, guys. Take care.
Thanks, buddy.
Does Chris have a Twitter account or something we want?
Facebook.
No, Chris, do you have anything you want us to tell the people?
Just that I'm here, and I'll be making sure that they understand how good their turnovers are here.
There we go. I love
Good
it.
one, buddy.
Hey, Chris, thanks, buddy. Be safe in Houston.
And safe travels to you around the country.
Thank you. Appreciate it, buddy. Later.
All right,
You
buddy.
got it.
Later.
Well, folks, it's been another great edition of Cw&P Nation. We had a great time. As if you were here earlier, you saw a lot of hot-spirited debate, but we had a great time tonight. We had Chris Lemoyne on all the way from Houston. Had our first comment coming in from Mexico. Before the show is over, I'd really like to just extend our faith to you as listeners, as hosts of this show. If you're not a Christian, it's very easy to become a Christian today. All we need you to do is believe that Jesus Christ came from his throne in heaven, came and lived this walk with you and gave up his life for your sins and rose again in 3 days. After that, go out there and make your public confession, tell a friend, family member, co-worker, and let the Lord begin to change you from the inside out, which he will do through the work of his Holy Spirit. I want to say a special prayer to all the listeners, families, children's, kids, husbands, wives, grandfathers. You know, we had a lot of holidays passing, Memorial Day. Shout out all the soldiers who did what they did for our country. God bless you all, and we love you, Big Mike, Hebrew, and Pluto, Cw&P Nation.
Peace, love. We'll see you next week.